Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's edition of the Imo Economy Study Network. So the webinar today is focusing on the digital economy, and we have very interesting people on the panel. But before we start, I would like to hand over to the Honorable Commissioner for Science and Technology, who is our host today, Professor Nwogu, to say an opening word.
Thank you, Professor Meshi, the moderator, colleagues on the panel, our friends from the two radio stations, so CISA FM and then Orient FM, and then those attending this webinar, our distinguished audience. Welcome to every one of you, and good morning. This webinar, we all know, is the initiative of the Chief Economic Advisor to His Excellency, the Governor of Imo State, Professor Kenneth Amechi. And then I want to commend him for this initiative because since he joined us in the State Executive Council, he has been running this series. I want to particularly thank him for giving me the opportunity of hosting this webinar today, which focuses on opportunities in digital economy in the state. Well, the mandate of my ministry, of course, includes digital economy. And in fact, it is a very core part of our mandate because digital economy has to do with growing the economy, leveraging digital technology. So insofar as technology is the driving tool, it falls squarely within the purview of the mandate of my ministry. So we are very, very much privileged and then happy to be hosting this seminar. As a matter of fact, the state government is very much committed to the development of digital technology and by extension, digital economy in the state. If some of you had listened to His Excellency, Distinguished Senator Hope Uzodimma, during his inaugural address to the good people of Imo State, he stated unequivocally that ICT and digitalization will be a key concern, will be a priority area of his administration. And I want to say that he has been living up to his bidding in that regard. And very happily too, recently, one would say that our efforts in promoting the development of digital economy in this state have received the national acclaim because most of you are familiar with the latest news in this area would recall that late last month or middle of last month, His Excellency, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, General Muhammadu Buhari, appointed our own governor as a member of the high-powered committee, presidential committee on e-government and then digital economy. So and that I think is precisely in recognition of his efforts because the 26 or 7 of them in that committee were appointed based on merit after a thorough search. So that appointment for us is a big boost to digital economy in the state. So, and then I am sure that during this webinar, given the background of the profile background of members of, we will immensely benefit from your knowledge and experience, particularly our people, because our major concern is how do we lift our people out of poverty, out of unemployment, through the instrumentality of digital technologies applied, in the context of the economy, the transactions, the buying and selling, all the things that we do that will help us to create value. How do we lift our people up? And then I'm sure this is where we are driving to in this webinar. But before you get down to real business, it might also be useful if I inform you of a few things the state government has done through the ministry to ensure that we create or we develop a vibrant and robust digital economy ecosystem in the state. Of course, for us to have a vibrant and a robust digital economy ecosystem in the state, certain facilities, certain infrastructure, certain things must be in place. And then I consider three of such elements that are critical to the development of digital economy ecosystem. These are the digital infrastructure, service infrastructure, what you call digital platforms. And then the third one, I keep hammering on that, digital literacy and skills. Now, with respect to digital infrastructure, now we do know that the major backbone for internet deployment for us now in this country is optic fiber. Now, we know that the broadband penetration is still very low. And part of the reason this has remained very, very low, the nation is targeting 75% by 2025. But where are we now? We're somewhere about 40-something%. Now, so you can see a huge deficit, which I don't see how we can, except if we fast track the efforts being made by the Ministry of Communications and Digital Economy to, deploy more bandwidth. So now, one major problem that has been impeding the deployment of these backbones, the optic fiber stuff, is the cost, what we call the right of way. Before now, it used to be 4,500 naira per linear meter. Now, as soon as our governor came, he reduced it. In fact, he crashed it from 4,500 naira to 145 naira per linear meter. You can see a huge crash. And he was the first, Imo State was the first state to adopt that kind of policy. So the state has tried to create an enabling policy environment for the digital tech companies to come into the state and then expand their networks. In other states, they still pay 4,500. Imagine a tech company that has about 3,000 or 4,000 kilometers of fiber optic to lake. Imagine the huge difference. Convert that to meter. That's multiplied that by 1,000. The 2,000 by 1,000. And multiply by 4,500. So it's a colossal cost. But
okay, Honorable Commissioner, I mean, that's a very interesting information you are offering there. Yes. And it would also be nice to see how the telecom firms or those in that sector are aware of this sort of information. So maybe there is more communication and awareness to be created there. But I think you've set the scene well by talking about what the government is doing, and I'll bring you back again at some point. So, but let's listen to our panelists, and then we can come back and reflect, or give you the opportunity to reflect on what you've had, and probably how we can all work together to ensure that we realize the benefits of the digital economy in Imo State. So thank you again, Honorable Commissioner. Let me go to the panelists and start with Nsikak John. So what I will do, I will mention your name and allow you to introduce yourself, and then answer the question I will pose to you. So Nsikak, I want you to reflect on what the digital economy means. And I'm not looking for a textbook definition here because we have a broad audience. How do we break it down to the point that the man on the street will understand? So Nsikak, if you can introduce yourself briefly and answer that question, that would be great.
Awesome, Prof. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Good morning, everyone, and good morning, co-panelists, and good morning, audience, wherever you're listening from. Such a privilege to be here. And so my name is Nsikak John. I'm country manager for Elevate. Elevate is an international digital skilling organization working with global tech companies and governments to skill at scale. Right now, we have a program with Microsoft that targets to skill 3 million software developers across Africa, 10,000 SMEs, 10,000 startups across Africa. So that's what I do. I also mentor startups across Africa, especially for the Google for Africa Accelerator program. So I'm happy to be here. Prof, to your question, what's digital economy? And you're not looking for a textbook definition. Quite frankly, it's interesting that a prof who is in the academia will be saying, look, let's leave textbook aside. So that shows how serious this is. So yeah, digital economy to me, refers to that part of the economy that is powered by digital technology, by technology. Of course, it's not a separate economy. It's the same economy we see, day-to-day, commercial activities, day-to-day communication. But the digital economy refers to that, part of the economy where technology has come into, to empower. I mean, serious components of digital economy will be the World Wide Web, the internet, mobile telephony, of course, internet connectivity, and all of that. I mean, we were communicating before now. Of course, there was a town crier who was passing information across, villages and society. But today, I mean, we're on this call and people are listening to us. We have the radio, we have the internet to broadcast information, and even commerce was happening before now, but today you can do commerce on the internet. So the digital economy refers to everything that technology enables you to do and to create, either as a value creator, as a value aggregator today. So that's my definition of the digital economy. It's not different from the traditional economy. It's just leveraging technology.
Sure. But there one would also say, well, part of it, you can use technology for many things, but in this case, it's about the transaction between customers and suppliers, so to speak. So there needs to be trade, there needs to become kind of economic exchange within that to qualify as participating in the digital economy. Because if you have your phone and you're not using it in the sense to create economic value, would that be seen also as part of the digital economy, if you see my point?
Honestly, if it's economy, then there has to be exchange of value. There has to be commerce, like you said. Today, I mean, if you look at the digital commerce space in Nigeria, the e-commerce space specifically, valued at about $12 billion, is expected to hit $75 billion by 2025. I mean, so if you have a mobile device that is connected to the internet and you are not using it for commerce, you've just choosing to, ostracize yourself, cut yourself away from the opportunities of digital economy. So to your point, yes, it's not just the fact that the economy is there, you have to participate actively to be part of it, Prof.
Okay, thank you very much. Let me bring in Olu Akomu. Olu, what is your take on the digital economy and what opportunities do you see, especially for young people?
Thank you, Prof. My name is Olu Akomu. I am the president and co-CEO of OPay in Nigeria. We are more known for our agency banking business that are in many places in Imo State. So straight to the question and why we're here. And I think I'd like to start from where the Honorable Commissioner ended about how do we lift our people out of poverty. And a digital economy can make a lot of difference in lifting our people out of poverty. Let me say an inclusive digital economy, which is one of the mission of OPay. Mr. Nsikak was talking about internet, but how many people have access to internet? The other part of digital economy, of course, is bank accounts. You need to have access to the internet. Then the other way you need to be part of the digital economy is the financial account to do transactions, to trade, to do e-commerce. some of the interesting statistics with regards to Imo State is that the number of people in terms of BVN penetration, and BVN is the percentage of the number of people in the total population with bank accounts in Imo State. The number of people with bank accounts percentage in Imo State, as about a year or two ago, was just about 22%. It has probably not grown very significantly by 1 or 2% maybe over the last 2 years. So essentially it means that 8 out of 10 people do not have any form of financial account to do transaction. 8 out of 10 people are excluded from the benefits of the digital economy. One of the big things we've got to solve, and that affects young people too, because in a country with about 60% young population, you can assume that most of the people who are among the 8 out of 10 that don't have bank accounts are young people. And therefore, how do we solve the problem of getting more people to have an account? Because if you don't have an account, you cannot trade. You cannot send money to you for the goods that you want to sell. So that's where one of the places where we have to start. And players like OP, people like us, one of the things we can do, we have to do is we will make account opening possible at all OP agents. So you can go to an OP agent where banks are not available. Maybe all the banks are in Owerri, they are concentrated in the state capital. In many places, you will find an OP agent or other agents. You can open an account with them. Then you can also open an account on your phone by dialing a straight USSD code, star something, 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 and open an account where you are. And these accounts with OP, you can receive money, send money from any direction, which means immediately the opportunity that you have to trade becomes far bigger than your village or your community, because you can sell goods anywhere and people can pay you. That's one of the first things we have to fix. And if we fix the issue of financial inclusion in Imo State, we can multiply the size of the digital economy by about 500, 600%. It's one of the fundamental things we have to do, working with government and working with the larger ecosystem. Thank you very much.
Yeah, but Olu, there's an assumption there that if I have a bank account, right, and I have a mobile phone, I can participate in the digital economy. But there is also the issue of trust. So there are people who have access to phone, they have bank accounts, but they never want to trade or do anything through their phone. So what guarantee, what has improved in our system to guarantee trust in a way that people can use these technologies and participate?
Today, things have changed. A lot of people today are receiving money on their account and they go to an agent to cash it. The level of trust has got much better. And yes, there may be 1 or 2 incidences, but what I can tell you is that if you look at the number of people with bank accounts in other places today, if you are in doubt whether the money has got to your account, then find an agent and go and withdraw your money. With OP, for example, if you open an account with us at our agents, we're also going to give you a card. So with a card, you can test whether money is actually in your account, which gives the confidence. But things have changed rapidly, and there's a lot that is changing, working with the larger ecosystem, where the banks have not got to. Players like OP, payment service banks, and all of us that are focused on including the excluded in the financial system, we have to go and bring the 8 out of the 10 that do not have financial accounts and bring them into the digital economy. And we are very committed to that. And that's why one thing why it's very important in Imo State are 2 things. In fact, agriculture is a big palm oil production. If you want to produce palm oil, and you want to sell a special brand of Imo palm oil in places like Lagos, how are you going to get paid? So these are some of the things why you need a financial account so that you can do business. Then you have a lot of people from Imo State who are in the US. Strong diaspora. One of the things I read on learned about Imo State is the strong diaspora remittances. People like yourself, Prof, who are sending money home. This money is sent to somebody. The money will disappear before it gets to the baba or to the mother who wants to set up a small business. But with an account, money can be sent directly, and baba or mama or the uncle will receive the 50,000, and they will set up a small business, and that's how we will lift a lot of more people out of poverty, because all the people in America can send money in IBC to our people in IBC, and they will get all the money they need. Business will start at the macro level, and like the Honorable Commissioner said, We will lift more people out of poverty by the time they have access to collect money, receive money, and get paid, and also do transactions. Thank you.
Okay, fantastic, fantastic. I mean, interesting points there. Let me go over to Omolade, and Omolade, you introduce yourself, but I want you also to look at the issue of, we talked about mobile technologies here, or digital technologies. I know your company, Samsung, is very much into that. What do you think people can do? Because sometimes people end up with flashy phones, and I just wonder why we prefer to carry expensive phones, but we don't do much with those phones. What would be advice to such people?
Thank you very much. My name is Omolade Agbadola. I'm the marketing manager for the mobile division, which we call Mobile Experience Division for Samsung Electronics West Africa and Nigeria. So in terms of digital economy, mostly will be achieved by our lowest hanging fruit, which is the smartphones that we carry around. And the reason we call them smartphones are because they are actually smartphones. They have the capacity to do things that you would typically or naturally would not be able to do with your human mind quickly. And they also have the capacity to host the digital tools that you require to participate in the digital economy. Now, a digital economy, apart from, the hardware, which are the mobile phones and all of that, also have a software part of it, which is whether the emails and software parts which have also developed to applications like Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, and the likes. With those applications or with those tools, whichever way you want to call them, you're able to break the barrier of location. You're able to reach, even with the banks you're being asked to open, the mobile phone would help you to operate those accounts without leaving your houses. The mobile phone would be that phone that would host the application to help you to transact. So the mobile phone is much more than, I just want to be able to talk to my brother in the village, or my mom being able to talk to me somewhere outside in diaspora. It's a tool that you can use to host applications, or it's a device you can use to host applications that can help you break barriers. So say, for instance, you're in Imo State, just as someone has already explained, and you want to sell palm oil, maybe to somebody in Canada. How does the person see the quality of what you want to sell? How does the person even see your product? The mobile phone would help you do that through those applications. Images will be used on those applications. Most of their skills to be learned. However, these skills can be learned also through your mobile phones. You don't have to leave your houses to learn these skills. There are apps. Google has Google skills that you can learn. Someone the other day mentioned Lenam, which can actually provide applications in any language that you want, whether you're Igbo, Yoruba, Hausa, English, whichever language that you want to learn. So the mobile phone is a very powerful tool that can help you break the barrier of location and help you easily participate in the digital economy, either via finance or providing the products and services that you want. More so, it goes beyond providing, helping you to amplify your products and services, even innate abilities, content, and things that you will naturally do. Now you see content providers on platforms like TikTok, Instagram have been cashing out a lot of money. These are things that we will naturally do, and we'll make fun of these things in our houses with our friends and neighbors. These tools, as I have mentioned, or applications, can help you through your mobile phone to be able to participate actively within the digital economic space.
Okay, I think what you're saying in essence is, irrespective of what you do, say for example, if you're a comedian, right? So instead of telling jokes to your friends around, you can leverage your smartphone and create beautiful jokes and make money from that. Would that be a good way to look at your phone?
Absolutely. Because these applications have a mechanics where you have, if you have driven enough traffic to your space, and they buy from brands buy advertising from them. They have a distribution mechanics or a a value sharing mechanism that helps you to gain value from that content as you drive traffic to those advertising. So yes, very correct.
Okay, great. So let me go to Chidi. Chidi, you've been in this space and for a while now. So what sort of skills do you look out for, and how can our people participate in these skills? So if you are, what sort of opportunities do you see for young people in terms of careers and skill development? Chidi.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks a lot, Prof. And good morning or good afternoon, everyone. My name is Chidi Obala, and I'm the CEO of Asante Financial Services. We provide digital financial services to growing businesses in Africa. By that, I mean micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises. In terms of skill sets, look, I think the skill sets that are required to play in the digital economy is actually wide-ranging, okay? From actually little or no skill sets, okay, to even the more complicated or sophisticated. The good thing about the digital economy is it's not an entirely new economy. What it has done primarily is taking our existing activities and digitizing, bringing efficiency, okay, and expanding the frontiers. So in most cases, there's really nothing new. It's actually the things that we do on a daily basis that has actually been digitized, just to make it a lot more efficient, just to make it a lot more seamless. And
sorry, but that digitalization requires somebody to go somewhere and do some coding or something like that.
I'm coming there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So on one hand, to provide all of that framework, to participate, the young ones or the people from the stage can actually develop core skills around software development or mobile development, applications like Flutter, and a lot of these skill sets you don't really need to go to a physical school. When you go online on YouTube, you can find several options. Okay, some of them are free. A lot of the technologies to actually build these applications are open source. You actually don't pay for them. They are all free. So for me, really, all you need is interest. Once you have the awareness, do you have the interest? Are you ready? And you can go online and research them, and you can actually have access to those skill sets to be able to develop the ability to build those applications or those softwares. So that is on one hand. On the other hand is the application of those capabilities, okay? Because you can actually have those tools or those applications, but you're not applying them, you're not using them. And so there are opportunities now, and there are several examples. I give you a simple, one of the, I go to a hair salon on a weekly basis. One of the things I hate the most is when I leave my house and I go to my salon, and then I find a long queue. Now, there are simple, someone can actually develop an application, okay? Onboard all the barbers or hair salon in Owerri or Olo onto that platform, and people can actually book online, remotely, and make confirmed payments. So if I know I have to go and have a haircut at 3 p.m., I go onto that platform, I register, make my appointment at a particular hair salon, and I make my payment. I get in there at 3 p.m. and I get my haircut. Very simple, very straightforward. So the capabilities are there. Where will people make all these payments and book the appointments and make the payment? It's on their mobile phone. So all the real estate, the infrastructure to do that is already existing. I give you another example. If you get into bigger cities like Lagos or Abuja or Ibadan, the ride-hailing firms are now pervasive, okay? Uber, Bolt, but I'm sure they're not in, maybe Owerri, if I thought they're in Owerri. But one of the smaller towns, why can't create a ride-hailing or Okada railing service, in Olo, for example? Why do you have to wait for Uber to come and do it for you? And you'll be surprised, the applications to do this are not expensive. And some people, some young folks, okay, in Imo State can actually develop it. And so you do that, you onboard all the Okada riders in Olo, and then if I want to go out, I don't have to go out and start flagging Okada or taxi. You can do that and just bring a lot of efficiencies. And I can just go on, take it to the restaurant industry. There are so many restaurants in Imo State. But today, if I want to eat, even when it's raining, cats and dogs, I have to leave my house and go to a restaurant. So why can't I online, you create a platform for restaurants, onboard them. And if I want to go to this particular mama put, and I can actually make my booking, pay, and then it is delivered. So by so doing, you've created multiple job creating opportunities. Okay, somebody has to cook the food. Somebody has to deliver the food as well. And somebody has to deliver the ingredients to the person that is cooking the food. So there are just, I think what the digital economy does is it has created just multiple opportunities, multiple skill sets that are also required to tap into those opportunities.
Okay, fantastic ideas there. I think we may need one to monitor the mechanics, right? Because people spend their weekends following their cars because they can't trust the mechanics. So somebody needs to find a monitoring app for that one. In terms of spare parts, even understanding the quality of the spare parts and where they've come from. So let me go to Nsikak again. Nsikak, I want you to probably come with some practical examples of what young people are doing in relation to the digital skills and digital economy. In practical terms, people use the YouTube, for example, they make money off YouTube. People use other social media platforms. Some are influencers these days, and they make a lot of money. So do you have examples of what young people or people generally can make out of the digital economy using their smartphones?
Of course, Prof, of course. An interesting conversation so far. I mean, I live in Lagos, and I have a friend he's a lecturer in a polytechnic in Akwa Ibom State. And on his Facebook page, if you go to your Facebook, either on mobile device or on a laptop, you can see something that is create story. And people create different kind of stories, but his own create story is that he just puts shoes, beautiful shoes, for sale. And I reached out to him and said, I love this, sneakers. How much is it? He sent me the cost and I paid into his account. And the sneaker was delivered to me almost in 30 minutes, which means the sneaker is not in Uyo, it's in Lagos. And so he simply used his Facebook page to advertise value, to aggregate value. He did not buy sneakers, he's not selling sneakers, he's a lecturer, but he was able to make something from that transaction just by using his mobile device and his Facebook account. So Prof, there's a lot that can happen within this ecosystem. I mean, the Minister of State for Budget and National Planning said that e-commerce would add 15% additional to the GDP, by 2025, because they've seen the kind of momentum that is happening here. And most of the activity is social commerce. It's not really e-commerce, it's social commerce, because e-commerce means, of course, there's a merchant checkout, you're paying with your card. But social commerce means you put up something on Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp, somebody likes it, he transfers money to your account and you deliver value. There's no payment processor involved. And a lot of this activity is happening on social commerce. You can either be a creator or an aggregator of value. Use Facebook to create stories. Omolade spoke about Lenam app. You can go download the app, learn in Igbo, Yoruba, Hausa, or Pidgin.
Sorry, Nsikak, do you want to spell that so that people listening can
Lenam, L-E-A-R-N-A-M. Learn, then am. Lenam. L-E-A-R.
Okay, Lenam. So okay,
Lenam,
Pidgin.
yes.
Yeah.
Pidgin, yes, learn it, Lenam.
Okay.
So yes, you can go download it, and these things are well explained. For instance, if on YouTube, let me talk about YouTube, because that's a very powerful platform for creating and commercialization of value, making money. If you have 1,000 subscriptions and 4,000 watch hours on YouTube, you can begin to make money. Now, this may sound daunting, this may sound difficult, but it's not at all. If you go to your mobile device and create your own channel on YouTube, which is very easy, you can learn it on Lenam. And then you tell your friends on social media, all right, Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram, hey, just go and subscribe to my page. Before you go through your friends, your relatives, your neighbors, your classmates, you've almost hit 400 or 500. And so you can get up to 1,000 subscriptions. And then you just put up content. What kind of content can you put on? Look for what is trending. In these days of politics, there's a lot happening. You can just go Google what is trending on Twitter, the top stories. And then you can just create contents around that. You can even go, if I was a young man in Imo State, for instance, I'll go to heritage sites, these cultural sites, Omudike Cave, whatever. And then I'll just use my smartphone, do a short video and tell a story that was told to me by my parents. I love stories like that. And I'll put it on YouTube. The moment you can accumulate some thousands of hours of watch, you now go and set up an AdSense account and make an application to Google, because Google owns YouTube, that you want to begin to commercialize value on your page. They will begin to send adverts there. And as people, watch those adverts, click on those adverts, you begin to make money. If you make $40 or $10 or $20, at the end of the month, it adds up, to a lot. Mr. Macaroni, Brother Shaggy, all of these guys, are doing comedy skits, and it's already a 50 billion, naira industry in Nigeria. You can even put people online for a fee. For instance, it's not everybody who is selling that would want to take the time to go to LearnAm to learn. So you can be the one to say, hey, you have your shop, you are selling this, I can create an online presence for you. I can create a social media presence for you. I can create a YouTube presence for you. And you are just, facilitating and aggregating value. Mr. Okpala said something very important. We have infrastructure challenges in Nigeria and Africa, all right? No roads, no healthcare, no education, but the infrastructure to drive digital is here already. If you have a mobile device, that can make a call, you can do transactions on USSD. If you have a mobile device that can connect to the internet, you have a gold mine in your hands. While we are waiting for things to improve, there's already sufficient infrastructure to power the digital economy. And I hope that the young people in Imo and beyond will begin to create value and commercialize on these channels.
And I think that's a very powerful point to end. I'll share my own experience. I have somebody in Lagos who does my graphic work, right? Whether I'm in Edinburgh or Florence or wherever I am, he's in Lagos and he does fantastic work. And what he gives me is far cheaper than what I would have paid in either Edinburgh or Florence. So the point here is that you can be in nowhere and have a customer in the US. And there are people there who may be earning, even if it's $500 a month, in terms of even maintaining other people's websites, because it costs a lot in whether you're thinking about America or Europe, to get skilled people that can help you do these things. And the advantage we have is that of cost. We can be cost efficient and we can attract those kind of businesses to ourselves. If you're earning $500 a month or $1,000 a month in Owerri, you are better, far better than somebody in London who earns £5,000 a month. So even though this whole idea of trying to migrate or go abroad may no longer be attractive if you're able to connect to the global economy. And the phone you have in your hand is the best passport you can get, the best visa to connect to the global economy in that sense. But that's my personal experience. But let me go to...
Probably can just add something quickly.
Okay, please.
So that point about... I love Owerri music, Owerri high life. Since I heard it about 10 years ago, there is no part of Nigeria where you have the melody of the Owerri high life. But that's something we can package and create content and do something that is unique to Imo, that Owerri music. What can be done? Because the markets as of today is strictly limited to Owerri. But there are a lot of people. I heard Owerri music first at a Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria conference. And I said, where is this music coming from? So that shows that there's a market somewhere. So digital can allow us to package some of those digital content and sell outside, like with the music example. So maybe a challenge to our musicians in Owerri, how can we use digital? And how can our tech people in Imo work with the Owerri content, music, Owerri high life industry to export that content to a lot of people that love it, who are not in Imo, for example, and bring money back into Imo. That's some of the things that digital can do, for example. Thank you.
Yes, and what you're saying there is kind of the combination between...
In a short choir to come and enjoy the music.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. So
Rob,
that's where how digital is supporting the creative industry. I think that intersection.
Rob, I just have one more challenge for the young ones out there.
Yeah.
You know, today Owerri is the hospitality capital of Southeast Nigeria.
Yeah.
Okay, the number of hotels in Owerri is probably more than the number of hotels in most of the states in Southeast. That creates a humongous opportunity. Today, if I want to travel to Owerri, how do I even make a booking in these hotels? How do I do it? That's an opportunity. Okay, somebody can create a platform to make it easier, you know, expose these hotels so that people can actually pay remotely and actually confirm those reservations or the bookings. So there's a huge opportunity around that people can easily grab. And I just give one more example. You know, I know a lady based somewhere in Nigeria, I'm not too sure, but she teaches Igbo to children of Nigerians in the diaspora. That is an opportunity. When my son took his IGCSE last year, the person that taught him computer science was actually living in Kenya. And so we have a lot of learned people that are teaching in schools in Imo State. Who tells you that your students can only be people living in Imo? You have the online platform. You can have students anywhere. Just make sure you're brilliant in the subject that you're teaching. And how do you expose yourself? Social media, Facebook, Instagram. Let people know that the people that you taught last year scored 5 A's or 7 A's in GCE, and you'll be surprised. So we already have the platform. All we just need, just make sure we have the right skill sets and be able to leverage them.
I think the point about the hotels also is about measuring their customer quality, customer service quality, ranking of some sort. And if you have a website that helps you to do that, that in itself is also a business, isn't it?
Absolutely.
in a way, and you put them on their toes, and we get things better. But let me go to Omolade. Let's bring it back to the basics, right? So I have a smartphone, I have WhatsApp. You know, people enjoy going through other people's status messages, right? So how can, say, the SME in Owerri, or my sister in my village who has a shop, how can she leverage on her WhatsApp and other social media platforms to advertise her goods and wares?
Thank you very much. So these platforms are very image-based, and thank God for WhatsApp. As soon as you drop an image, it kind of, I don't want to say notify, all of your contacts who are on WhatsApp would see that you have added something to your status. And then people will continue to see. What you need to do is to ensure that you use your smartphone effectively. Take pictures, clear pictures, upload them on your WhatsApp on a daily basis. You can then add additional information to your images as to what the prices are, what you're selling, and maybe some other information that can help the consumer to complete the transaction. You can do this as often as you want. I mean, these things can take as many images per day, and then as they go on, people will start to contact you. It's very easy. Your lowest hanging fruit are the people closest to you, which are your direct contacts. And I will tell you that as soon as you finish a transaction and it goes on well, word of mouth is very key within the social space. That word of mouth, which again, we've not been able to completely quantify, is as strong as a paid advertising. So one person tells the other, and keeps going on and on and on and on. This is the same for Facebook, same for Instagram. The other thing that will be stronger for Instagram and Facebook is that these applications or platforms also deliver more information to you about your customers. So if you have customers that come to your pages more often around Wednesday by 3 p.m., the application, that's the Facebook for Business, Instagram for Business, can show you that information, and then you know that that's where your customers are more active. That is when you want to post. That is when you want to deliver a message to your customers. The other thing you also need to think about is that how clear is your message? How clear in terms of visibility, the images that you're taking, and how clear in terms of what the product is, what the product will do for you, and then how much the product will go for. All of that. Then also supported by logistics, this can easily be taken care of. People have given several examples supporting how to, transfer your products and services across Nigeria. However, one thing I should mention is that having a very good smartphone is very important, because if your pictures are not attractive on these platforms, it may not deliver the right value or the right proposition to the individual. Samsung devices are very, very known to have good quality camera quality. And contrary to a lot of people's opinion, Samsung has devices that can cater to the very lowest of lowest. We have devices of 50,000 naira that are smart and can take clear pictures. So if you go to the market, you want a smartphone that can deliver you and infuse you into digital economy effectively to this regard, look for a Samsung phone, and I can bet you will be able to do it right and you will get it right.
So Omolole, we need to charge you to complete that transaction cycle there, right? but good point there. I think we also apply to other devices, but we encourage people to participate. So before I come to the Honorable Commissioner to reflect on what he has had so far, I know we have like 40 more minutes to go. If you have any questions, please put it in the chat or put it in the question box. But I want to bring in Chidi, momentarily to reflect on his own journey. And Chidi, I hope you won't mind me putting you on the spot, because you're somebody who saw an opportunity in this space, although you're not based in Nigeria at the moment, but you're able to tap into it, in Africa. And I remember you were telling me a story once about some farmers in Kenya and in terms of milk supply and how you're using your platform to support them. Do you want to sort of tell us your own personal encounter with the digital economy? Probably might also motivate somebody in Imo State who thought or who thinks that this is impossible.
Sure. No, thanks a lot. So firstly, I mean, look, I've been, I started banking in the 90s in Nigeria. And as at that time, I remember very clearly, for the young people that are listening, we couldn't, if I wanted to transfer, I live in Lagos, and then, I want to transfer money to say, Prof in Imo, it would take about 3 or 4 days. If I wrote him a check, it would take about 6-7 days to clear. Well, we remember, up-country checks. And so even traders, when they wanted to move money across states, they had to go with Ekene Dilichukwu, night bus, and arrive there the next day with money. So over the last 20 years, okay, the landscape in Nigeria has changed dramatically. And, with the advent of, digitalization, advent of digital payments, and so on and so forth. And that has created enormous opportunities for people, either to, participate as an entrepreneur, build your businesses, bring your ideas to bear, or even, to use those assets as well as a consumer. And for me, the opportunity I spotted is around supporting growing businesses. And by that, I mean micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises. We created Asante about 4 years ago. We started in Kenya, moved to Uganda, Rwanda, and we've just opened in Nigeria. And Kenya is a good example because that is one market that on the back of mobile money, okay, which is now happening in Nigeria, thanks to companies like OPay and now MTN and Entel and so forth. But Kenya started that, about 15 years ago. And just because of M-Pesa, financial inclusion moved from about 30% to now 75% in less than 10 years in that country. And what has now happened is it gave so much impetus to the takeover of the digital economy in Kenya. And so all the activities of small businesses have now been moved notches up. And I give a number of examples. Kenyans have what they call chamas or SACCOs, what in Nigeria we call a susu. Okay. So today in the Nigerian environment, somebody has to move from one shop, to the other, collecting money. He has a textbook or what we call exercise book. It will say, Chidi, today he contributed 50 naira and so on and so forth. In a market like Kenya, that is now digitized. Everything is now on the mobile. So I don't have to leave my store and go from one store to the other, collecting money from those people, writing it down. So what happens on a day that it rains? So today that whole process has been digitized. People are able to contribute with their mobile phone, and then service providers like us that has actually enabled this whole process has now made it fully streamlined and also brought efficiency. Okay, today in a Nigerian context, you don't know what goes on with those contributions because it's only the chairman and the secretary that actually controls all of that money. When it is digitized, every member actually knows what is happening on a real-time basis. Another example is, and that's the example Prof talked about, okay? Groups that are in a milk production, people that have cows, they contribute and they buy a small tuk-tuk. So every morning somebody has to move from one store to the other, again with the excise book, collect this fresh milk in cans, and then they sell them to the milk processors. Before now, again, there was no transparency, okay? They were all being done in analog forms. People were writing them down. With the digital economy and also the fact that they have digital payments, that's also been fully digitized. And so as the collection happens, it is imputed on the phone. The farmer knows on a real-time basis that the man has taken three bottles or 3 cans of milk from me. And then once payment is made by any of the processors, there's a confirmation, and then you receive it, and then you can run your life and do other things, okay? And one last thing that this has also done is enabling the takeoff of digital credit, okay? Before now, and we all know, banks don't lend to small businesses. And the reason is because there are no records. That woman that has that small shop, that woman that has that restaurant, that man that has that tailor store, that barber, nobody can lend money to him. What is the reason? There are no records. There is no system. What the digital economy does is it creates the basis to be able to, for these businesses to be assessed and credit to be extended to them. And that's the beauty. So when you embrace the digital economy, when you accept digital payments, there are now footprints. There is now a record for a financial institution like Asante to be able to assess you and extend credit to you. And this over time will help us in reducing the credit gap that small businesses are facing today in Africa and in cities or states like Imo State.
Thank you very much, Chidi. Very interesting story. And time flies. That's the problem we have with this program. So, Prof, I don't know, do you want to reflect maybe in a minute or two what you have had so far? I mean, there are many things that have been thrown out there. Is there anything that the government is doing? Are you seeing opportunities we can tap into, and what needs to happen? The Honorable Commissioner, yeah. Maybe you want to unmute yourself, yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator, Professor Amaechi, and thank you, the panelists. This discussion has been very, very interesting, and then I would also say very, very useful, very, very insightful. Obviously, there are several areas we have learned from this discussion. For instance, it's been mentioned that in Imo State, the financial inclusiveness is about 22%. That's about 20% of Imolites that have bank accounts and stuff like that. And that's a serious event to the growth of digital economy. So I see an opportunity for collaboration with Olu's company and then the likes to see what we can do to extend these financial services to the rural area. Because I think the major problem, the exclusion, is coming more from the rural areas, because obviously there is this urban-rural digital divide, which we also have to find a way of addressing. The issue of digital literacy or skills gap is also there. And I'm also as the economic advisor to you're thinking along that line. This is one area that we are passionate about, developing the requisite skill set to that will enable our citizens to be active players in the digital economy. I had mentioned to you that already we have done a series of trainings in this area, and then we are also packaging a proposal to enable us to utilize the huge facility that is lying almost unused in Ebema. That's the facility that was donated to us by NDDC and then stuff like that. And we are thinking around what we call the Finishing School Academy or the Finishing School Program. And this is all about developing requisite skill sets that will enable our youths, those that are not employed, fresh graduates from universities that don't have the industry relevant skills, to upgrade their skills and then become much more useful and then active within the digital economy ecosystem. So I think that we need to explore some of these areas. And then again, like somebody did mention, the issue of attitudinal disposition or passion on the part of the citizens is important. You may have the skill set, you may have a mobile device and then all that, but if you're not interested in these things we are talking about, so that calls for, sustained programs of awareness creation, sensitization, and then stuff like that. So I think that this whole conversation has been a useful one, and then we have learned a lot, and we build on some of the views that have been expressed here, and then try to fast track the development of digital economy in the state. It is my pleasure. I don't know whether I will do this or some other time, because it's for me an obligation to express gratitude to the panelists for a job very well done. I do express profound gratitude to the panelists, including radio stations. I hear one of them or two of them have joined, or they did join at a later point in this program. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. We have less than 3 more minutes to go. Well, let me just invite Olu Akamu. What will be your parting word in 30 or 15 seconds so we can get everybody in before I wrap up?
It's that let's fix financial inclusion in the Imo State. A situation where 8 out of 10 people do not have a financial account. It's like the financial rail is built from Lagos, Abuja, but it stops in Owerri and Olu. 8 out of 10 people do not have a rail track to get to the financial digital system. We've got to fix that. And I'm glad that the commissioner has said that, and any of the people in the ecosystem, OPay, we are willing to partner. We have to fix the problem. In the interest
okay, so you chase the commissioner. If you don't succeed, let me know. Commissioner, I'll come after you to make sure this happens. Okay, fine. Let me invite Omolade just in 30 seconds as well, if that's possible. Fine.
Yes, it's possible. I would just like to say that when we talk about interest, I think the interest should be whether you want to make money or not, or you want to exchange value or not. Yeah. Because what you use in driving the digital economy is already existing. You own a store, you can create a content, you can bring people together in one page or in one place to achieve a goal. All of that can be translated into the digital economy space, and you can provide value to get your money.
Thank you very much. Nsikak, do you want to put a spin on what we're trying to do with the digital economy skills before you wrap up? Just,
absolutely. Yes, in 30 seconds. Quite frankly, I think I would like to advise the young people in Imo that look around you. You have enough to start. Whenever you see abundance, that's an opportunity for value creation. If you see an abundance of farmers, an abundance of palm oil sellers, abundance of commerce, whatever you see as an abundance, It's an opportunity to aggregate value, put them on the digital channel, and then create opportunities for yourself, and then learn to learn. Get on Learnam, download the app, learn how to do these things, and create value for yourself, your environment, and for the country. Thanks, Prof.
Okay, brilliant. And Chidi, maybe in 10 seconds then.
No, thanks. No, I mean, I just want to say that, you know, the fastest way to achieve, you know, sustainable, inclusive economic growth in Imo State is actually through digital economic inclusion. And, you know, all of, you know, those young folks that have been complaining about no jobs, no, you know, no opportunities. This is actually the opportunity. So we have it in our labs. Just get to understand what these opportunities are and begin to exploit them.
Thank you very much. Thank you, my panelists. Thank you, Honorable Commissioner. Thank you, the radio stations. We also thank my colleagues, Javita Agu and Adeza Shaheme and my team. And it's been an interesting one, and there will be another one 2 weeks from now. I wish you all the best of the weekend, and happy Salah for those who celebrate it. See you sometime soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.
I will enjoy with the music.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right then. Bye-bye.